Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are excited to have Stephanie Bellomo joining us here again, our owner and hypnotherapist at Stephanie Bellomo Hypnotherapy. Now, she's based out of Jericho, Vermont, and we're excited to have her back here as a certified hypnotherapist to talk about, well, all the work she does that's affecting our mind, body, and spirit, including positivity and so much more. So, Stephanie, welcome back. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Hope you had a good weekend.
I really did. What about you? How's the weather where you are?
It's amazing. It's been dry. It's been unusual after a very wet part of the summer and wet last year. So it feels more like we've had California, though it's cooling down.
Oh, well, we're excited to have you back. For those new time listeners, would you mind just sharing a little bit about what it is that you do? Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm a retired family physician. I've retired a couple of years ago, and when I found I was really missing doing things that were helping people, I went back to study for a whole year in how to become a hypnotherapist. So not just learning how to do hypnosis, but how to be a hypnotherapist requires having a little more psychology training and understanding how to get people motivated on their way to achieving what they want in their goals. And it's a joy to me to do this. It really is.
Clearly. Well, we love having you here. Let's remind everyone how we could find you.
Yes, I can always be reached by just calling my number 802-999-0062. I have a website, which is just StephanieBellomo.com, and my email is Stephanie@StephanieBellomo.com, which is so easy to remember. So there you go.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited to have you back here. I know you wanted to focus on, was it positivity? Could you just share a little bit about what you wanted to focus on for us today to start?
Well, a lot of people who are looking for help with hypnosis have had negative experiences with their own health. Their belief system is becoming damaged with feeling like nothing is succeeding. If they've had medications for support of some particular problem, or they've gone through a long time of other therapy, they're having counseling for depression or anxiety or fears or things, and they're sometimes just not breaking out of it. They just seem to be stuck. And sometimes they can define for me just something that is an obstacle that I try to say, okay, here's how you work on it. And we have to kind of get past this sense of defeat, this sense of a person being a victim of whatever their issue is, their health condition, for instance. Often they've identified it with it so much that it really is their identity. They think it's part of their personality. And so, somebody who's struggled with weight for years, they've dieted in a yo-yo fashion, they think they've made some success and then they relax, and they never really kind of stick with something that truly works because they actually just have this belief inside that may have been injected into them from family, friends, the people they're around. So we absorb these identifications of, oh, I'm just going to be fat all my life, and I'm going to go on and get diabetes or whatever it is you're going to have. And they identify that so strongly that we have to actually take that apart in a hypnosis and start to develop a more positive outlook on who they are, who they can be, who they actually were at one point in their life frequently. I think of families that I knew as a family physician where everyone was prone to, it seemed like people were stocky in build, and they may have had lifestyle habits that made them remain heavy. Their kind of work they did, their type of diet kind of contributed, and we have to get them to feel like it's not such a big chore to make a change, but we have to use some techniques to modify that And instead of pushing them and making suggestions that say, hey, you should do this, you should do that, they've been already doing that. Their dietitian, their doctor told them, you should lose weight, how to do it. But they need the carrot that they want.
Yep.
Something. And so I try to instill them with this sense of imagining themselves. We put people into an emotional state.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to imagine themselves as slim, as fit, and feel it. And if you can feel it like you have it right now,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to have an easier time succeeding. And people have to have that reinforced a lot, sometimes repeat sessions, listening to, recordings that reinforce it are all very helpful. So, and that's something I do. I work with my clients at least one, sometimes two sessions to really develop a sense of what works best for them. And then I make a recording that's their own, their own particular customized hypnosis that they can listen to and hold on to those suggestions and really begin to ingrain them through repetition. And repetition is how we learn. So it's all doable. It's kind of cool.
Well, let me ask you, this is, you've been doing this for quite some time. I've gotten to know you. The last time we spoke about your background, you are a retired family physician with over 33 years of experience. So I just love that you have this amazing medical background. And, because I think, a few years ago when I learned about hypnotherapy and I was like, wow, I heard about it just to stop smoking, then weight loss. And then I realized there's so many amazing things that this can do. And I love you as a doctor, also believe and, of course, are here proving that the benefits of being a certified hypnotherapist, helping so many people. So I know there's past life regression, there's hypnosis for even like immune disorders and even for grief recovery, clients with cancer, anxiety, body syndromes, and trauma recovery. So this is pretty fascinating. I just have to point this out. And I know I got to know a little bit about you last time, but for those that don't know, could you just share about your medical background and how it turned into this? And obviously we'll talk more about the subject, but I just want people to realize, your credentials, because it's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was scientifically inclined in my youth. I went through college kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I had a family that were all pretty studious and overachievers, tending to want to keep moving on and developing more higher goals. And I didn't really know. This was way long ago in the 70s, and I went on to do a master's in actually animal science and learned a little bit more about biochemistry of the pineal gland. So that has become more of an esoteric subject for a lot of people. But it has, it's an important organ in our bodies, and it's part of our brain. It's part of our hormone system. And just understanding the way our bodies work helps us kind of develop these understandings of, hey, I have intentions of stuff, but what can I do to make it really work? And if you can have this high positivity level from understanding that you don't have to be afraid or worried about the future all the time, your body relaxes and absorbs more ability to kind of create what you want. So it can be good health. If you believe yourself to be somebody who's destined to have diabetes or high blood pressure or cancer, you can talk yourself out of it because your body will respond. And it's also through hormones. So our hormones affect our immune system, our ability to develop this kind of just a sense of, I have a power instead of becoming a victim of everything. And unfortunately in our world, this is one of the things I saw as a family practice person. I saw people who just had given up. And then I think it's our society has pushed people into working overtime. They're all stressed out. They're watching too much TV, which is loaded with commercials, which are creating suggestions of themselves. And thank goodness, my medical school actually had, we actually focused on that, that the power of advertising impacted people's health in a great way. And so one of my other backgrounds, when I was doing the animal science stuff, I was pushed into, I needed to do something as a teaching fellow, and I had to work for my tuition, basically. So I was helping teach nutrition, and because I worked under a nutritionist, and it was somebody who was a professor that taught nutrition in the college, and it created this lifelong fascination with what are we doing to our bodies when we start to eat processed food.
Yeah.
And coming back to the more organic and more natural types of things, learning to cook, all that. I've been trying to encourage people that if we can do it in ways that feel enticing. So other things I used to do was share recipes with people when I was with if I could walk in and somebody said, "Oh, I think you lost weight," or which is always hard when you're a physician and you're kind of stressed for time to eat correctly. I would say, "Okay, well, this I just did this. You've got to try this."
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. This week I was cleaning up our garden, and we still had we had a lot of tomatoes. My husband's really into tomato growing, because he likes to make sauce. He has basil, and we grew onions, and he had basil and parsley and lots of tomatoes, and almost everything else had died off. Well, I went out, and I'm like, I've got to see what I can do with this, and I made this huge salad with tomatoes, basil, some red onions, some parsley, and I threw in some celery and mozzarella. And that was my lunch.
Yummy,
and I tell you, all the basil, a huge amount of basil, made me sleep so well. I don't think, nobody knows this, but basil, it can help you not only with your immune system, all these other vitamins that are in it, but it enhances your serotonin. And I slept that night for 9 hours, which is way more than my normal. And I'm like, there's something to this. So if people can just have this motivation to try something new. I have so many people that hate vegetables. They think they hate them. Eat them, they'll say, well, I can buy those. Right? Have you known people who just had...
Well, I might have kids. I have a 7 and 9-year-old, so yes. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big vegetable fan myself, so I never implemented it as much on them. But what can I do to help them?
Well, you just find ways to incorporate. When I was a kid, we didn't have many good vegetables. I grew up in northern Vermont and way up in the 45th parallel. And it was always cold, short summers. You couldn't grow a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so we had too many canned things, and vegetables were frozen or canned and awful, and dumped into a pan and boiled, and it's like they had no taste. So the more people if they can try new things by choosing something different and just trying it and see what can make it enhance for them. And just, again, I could put in hypnotic suggestions. If you said, I can't sleep well, I can say, just imagine, you are going to sleep so much better when you try this, and try to get that belief into them. And it's just so much fun trying to tailor more than one suggestion that's going to achieve where they want to go. So, if you eat enough vegetables, you don't feel hungry for more bread or more ice cream, or because you're full. And again, blending flavors enhances things. So for your kids, what do? You blend things. My mom was actually pretty good at this. She used things like cabbage is a simple food that's cheap, okay? Carrots are easily obtained and cheap comparatively, but she would throw in raisins or oranges or apples in a coleslaw. And so it wasn't just vinegary, chewy food. It had a little tang, it had a little sweetness, and that got us eating lots of cabbage.
Oh, I'm going to try some of this. All right, hold on. We got to take a quick commercial break. Would you mind sharing all the ways we can contact you? I know the website. It's your name, so it's spelled Stephanie, StephanieBellomo.com. Do you want to share a phone number or a social media page? And we'll take our quick break here.
Yeah, I'm doing a Substack from time to time.
Sure.
I really don't do a whole lot on social media currently, but you can reach me at 802-999-0062. It's me answering. I don't have any mediaries that take care of things, so I will answer and personally speak with you.
Beautiful. All right, everyone, let's do this. We'll take that quick break, and we'll be right back with more. Don't go anywhere.
Celebrating Bubby's 70th birthday. 7 months after her birthday. Saying I don't to more postponements, and I do to each other. The life-changing vacation? Just a little later in life. And the taste of some home cooking that's been simmering for months.
Sorry, I think this one's mine. Oh, my bad.
For all the things that you've been looking forward to getting back to, we've got a plane for that. Visit JetBlue.com for everyday low fares.
Living comfortably in your home is easier than ever with a little help from Lowe's and AARP. We share a commitment to help people make their homes ready for all of life's changes. Take advantage of helpful videos, tips, and resources to guide you and your loved ones along the way. To learn more, visit Lowe's.com/livablehome. U.S. only.
Are you one of the many perimenopausal women who's been told hormone replacement or medications are your only options? Are you searching for effective natural solutions tailored to your needs? I'm Melissa Tolakai, founder of Nature's Apothecary. For over a decade, I've been helping women experience a natural menopause transition. Learn more at tamingtheflames.com or call 602-632-9435.
Are you struggling to make your mark in a male-dominated industry? Are you ready to break free from limitations and unlock your true potential? I'm Lindsay Arico, founder of Fly Fearless Unlimited. We empower women to embrace their authenticity, build unshakable resilience, and lead with unstoppable confidence. Together we'll break barriers and redefine success. Schedule your complimentary discovery call by going to our website, flyfearlessunlimited.com. Let's conquer the skies and fly fearless together.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the mytuner-radio, onlineradiobox, and simpleradio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are excited to have our friend, our doctor, our hypnotherapist joining us, Stephanie Bellomo joining us here. And she's based out of Jericho, Vermont, and she's talking about the power of hypnosis. And again, she offers a free phone consultation. So please reach out to her. Stephanie Bellomo, let me spell that for you. STEPHANIE. And Bellomo is BELLOMO.com. So welcome back to the show. We still have more time today to talk. Stephanie, what else did you want our listeners to be aware of?
Well, I want to get back to this setting intentions with positivity for people. And one of the things that makes hypnosis work is we are putting people into a different state of mind. They're in a different frequency of brain waves. It's fascinating to know that when we kind of get into a trance state, it's a time when we are more suggestible to receiving information and ingraining it, incorporating it into our belief systems. And so the goal of a good hypnotist is to kind of get past this initial resistance that most people have, that it's involuntary. Most people have a little bit of fear when they first go through hypnosis that someone's taking over their body and mind. And in some ways we are, but we're doing it only through what they want. Not, I'm not trying to impose anything they don't want on them. And so if they have, let me know exactly what they're looking to do, and we can design suggestions and work out ways to kind of get past these negative self-talk that people usually have come up with in their own lives. And we get negative self-talk through things we have learned from advertising, from our family, things that people have said to you when you're a little kid that you didn't want to believe, but you believed it anyway, and because you believe everything when you're young. Everything that comes in becomes part of your worldview. And we have to kind of overcome those things when they have been repeated over and over, the sense that a person is a victim. They can't lose weight because the family is fat. They can't avoid having a problem like cancer because somebody else had it. I think about people who think they will die at a certain age because some parent or grandparent did, and it's all this stuff where they kind of got that in their own mind, and we have to untangle it and take it apart. So we're removing fear that way. Fear is is false information appearing real, and we have to take it down and show them other evidence. So anxiety is the fear of something in the future. And so people often are avoidant of certain things because they're afraid of something that might happen. And, even if they might have had a negative experience, it doesn't always work. And the cool thing about hypnosis is the more you think positively, the more what you expect to happen will, the good stuff. And so it's really important to reinforce that also with setting intentions before you sleep. That it's almost like praying. You're like, I'm going to have a wonderful day tomorrow. Nothing will go wrong. I am having the best time in my life right now. And putting yourself always in a state of now is the most important thing, that you can believe, I feel really great right now, and the future isn't here yet, and I can fix what I am right now. So that's something I wanted to impart.
Well, thank you. Well, we still got 5 more minutes in the show, and I'm sure there's way more to talk about. I love hearing client testimonials and stories. Anything good happened the past week that we haven't spoke? You helping someone with something?
Mostly, I've been kind of working with people to try to figure out where to go with things. So I have somebody that's a very high functioning person who just hadn't quite believed that she can go where she wants to because she was getting negative feedback from a few people all her life. And it had become ingrained because she'd had a few failures and now believes that there was this inability to overcome that. And she's a person with a very strong spiritual belief who's actually in a very practical, logical realm of her work. And it was quite interesting to find out how spiritually inclined this person is. And she was doing lots of meditating, but still hadn't believed that what she's seeing as the way she could do stuff is actually practical and useful and helpful for other people because she teaches as well. So I was quite impressed with her, and I just needed to reinforce her belief in herself that she is a valuable, innovative, amazing person. And that's something we have to get people to pass the self. They degrade themselves because somebody said something they didn't take well in the past. And we take in those negative suggestions when we're very vulnerable and stressed out. And it's important that we all take time to de-stress in some way. And that's why weekends are important, to just let go, relax, enjoy something, and believe that you can get into the now and then get where you want to be down the road when you are rested. When you're overwhelmed, it won't work.
Yeah.
So
it is so true. I know. We're always on the go, go, go. We need to relax, breathe. And let's just remind everyone now how we could reach you to start working with you and to get that free consultation.
Yes, just write me, email me at stephanie@stephaniebellomo.com or call me at 802-999-0062.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you here, and hopefully we'll connect again next week. Enjoy the week.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Of course my kid's in the right car seat. Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.